Okay. Welcome to Hope and Direction. I'm Pastor Matthew, and this week we're talking about how to instantly start solving 80% of your problems. And if you've seen our other videos, you know that we're talking about the root of bitterness. But today we want to talk about something that's largely misunderstood, and we're talking about the disposal of toxic waste. So I have a toxic waste symbol here, and these symbols are put over locations that have very dangerous, poisonous things that are extremely difficult to deal with. When I grew up in the greater Philadelphia area, I lived in a town called Havertown, Pennsylvania, and in Havertown there was what was called a Superfund site. What's a Superfund site? A Superfund site is a place where incredibly toxic material has been leaked into the environment, and the government actually puts an order around that site and says you can't touch it, you can't mess with it, you can't develop it, you can't go on it, and they do it for people's safety. And if any person wants to come in and individually go and say, I'll take care of it, they really don't understand what's going on, because the individual or even a company simply wouldn't have the ability to clean it up. It's that bad. And today I want to talk about how you can instantly start solving 80% of your problems by understanding that there are certain things that might cause you to be bitter or hurt or damaged or traumatized that you're not going to be able to clean up. They're just toxic. And the more you mess with it, the worse it's going to get. And here's the reason why. Because no individual human being can clean it up. And so you've got to ask yourself a question. Do I really want today to dig up that toxicity? Do I really want to try to dig that all up or go traipsing across those grounds when I know that on it is something that is going to poison my life? Now, there's so many things that are toxic, and I'll tell you one thing that's absolutely toxic right now for us today, and it is fear. Fear of death. Fear of being hurt. Fear of what's going to happen tomorrow. And all of these things are things that have happened to us in the past, or we were afraid of it in the past, and we're literally, as a society and as individuals, going and we're trying to dig up all this toxicity. And the fact of the matter is that we were never designed to be able to handle fear. We were never designed to be able to handle all these problems. And there are certain things that you're going to want to do one of two things for. You're going to want to either leave it alone because it's toxic and walk away, or you're going to say, God, in your time and in your way, you've got to clean it up and just turn it over to him. You know, there are so many things in our lives that are toxic. And I really believe that Scripture tells us that unless we can cover it in love and unless we can let it go, then we need to sometimes make Superfund sites. And we need to say, you know what, that's toxic and I'm not going to dig it up. That's toxic, I'm not going to ingest it. That's toxic, I'm not going to go over those grounds. I had a really good friend of mine. He happens to be one of the leaders of the church. He said to me, listen, Matthew, it might be 5 minutes, it might be 5 days, it might be 5 years, it might be 50 years. But you're not going to solve that problem right now, and you need to leave that alone. And I just had to create some Superfund sites between me and God. I said, God, that's toxic. I'm not going to go on those grounds. I'm not going to dig that up. And it was one of the greatest spiritual advancements of my life. What do you need? What's toxic in your world? Do you need to go to God and say, God, I want a Superfund site. I need to turn this over to you. And when you start doing that, when you say, I'm not going to go over that toxicity, I'm not going to let that poison me, you're going to instantly start solving 80% of your problems, because there are certain things that can lead you into bitterness, into hurt, into pain. And the best thing you can do is just leave them alone and turn them over to God. So today we want to encourage you, don't get sucked into digging up toxicity. Don't get sucked into trying to think you can fix it yourself. The only person who knows how to fix these things is Jesus. We have to turn them over to him. And whatever your toxicity is, give it to God, and he'll take care of it, and he'll give you a healthy life. Until the next time we get together, we just want to encourage you, keep the eyes of your heart focused on Jesus. Let's follow him together.